Welcome to OkState Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Fans, today for the second time, we have a very special guest joining OkState Daily, Josh Holliday, the head baseball coach. Joins Coach. Thank you so much.
You bet, Casey.
Okay, man, we're talking about the Utah weekend. We're talking about a great game last night. Home sweet home at OkState, right? But let's go back to Utah. First time OSU's played there, I believe, ever. It's the old stadium there that they're retiring. Big and cavernous. Obviously, you have the elevation, which affects both pitchers and hitters. So take us back to that weekend first.
Well, certainly an interesting place to go. It was beautiful when we landed. They just melted off about 5 or 6 inches of snow. So interesting place to land into, beautiful mountains. But once we got there, actually had great weather. And we played, like you mentioned, Smith's Field, the old AAA park of the Los Angeles Angels, handed off to the University of Utah for one more year before Utah moves into their own on-campus new stadium they're building right now. So, yeah, we played in a big ballpark, big dimensions. But, we got there, a chance to play them all three one at a time, which is always ideal on the weekend. And just didn't get off to a good start. You know, the first ball game on Friday night, hit a bump, middle of the game. Their guy threw the ball well. We knew he was going to be a tough customer. I thought we would have handled him better than we did. Every time we built an inning or had a shot to do something, he would make a pitch and get out of it. And then once the scoreboard got on the wrong side, we went down staff knowing we needed to kind of save some of our leverage guys. The game got away from us. So definitely an ugly Friday night game for sure. The response on Saturday was good. Harrison did a nice job. He's been very steady. He once again went out and gave us a shot to win the game. A little better on offense, had a big home run from Schubert that gave us a little bit of room, and a good response by our team. Felt good heading into Sunday. For whatever reason, again, just kind of came out flat. We were not able to put together enough quality at bats in order to do damage on a day that I really felt like offensively we would be able to hit our way to the desired result. So tough series, not what we intended, not what we set out to do. Tough trip all around. Really nothing more you can say about it. Just simply have to get better, play better, all phases of the game. There was nothing about, our team other than I think collectively trying so hard to play well that we played below our potential. And as a coach, you gotta work on that. We got home. We did a good job on Monday of recovering, and then Tuesday showed up and played better. Ball game against Wichita State was a good Tuesday night win. You look across the country, Tuesday night games are very unique. You're seeing a different run of guys on the mound. I thought we got a good start from a talented freshman in Matthew Brown. And then Brugge's big triple kind of broke it and got us going again. And it was a unique wind. I thought it was an interesting east wind blowing literally straight into our face, which we don't often get this time of year. We hit some balls hard, though the wind neutralized. So early on it was a little frustrating because we were hitting some balls hard in the air and got nothing back for it. But Collins' base hit really relaxed the ball club. We played much better behind that. Left way too many guys on base. Had multiple opportunities to do a better job of situational hitting. But those give us some film and some talking points of, hey, next time we encounter this situation, here's what we'd like to do better. But all in all, it was good to get a win. It was good to get home. Our kids needed that. And we needed some momentum. And we were able to turn that a little bit more in our favor. Now we got another challenging trip to Kansas. The Jayhawks are playing probably as well as at any point that I can remember going into a series with them. They're playing well this year. They've gotten off to a good start, so should be a good challenge up in Lawrence.
Going back to Harrison, he did a great job being the stopper, getting that momentum stop. Momentum only goes as far as the next day's starter, right? And he did a great job with that. So talking about the weekend rotation, he's manned the Saturday. So is there any plans in place for the Friday and Sunday, or is that just a work in progress?
Where we've not been able to get as consistent as we very much like to be has just been in the way the weekends have played out. We had a little bit of stability in week 1 and week 3 with the 2 tournaments in the domes, but we obviously the second week didn't have the traditional 3-game series, nor did we in week 4 or week 5. Weather, all these other things. So we're going to get Harrison on Friday this week in Lawrence. I've been trying to get him closer to the Friday game, the schedule and the rest in between. And then how we line up behind Harrison is something we're taking a deep look at, how our guys best match up, how we best fit guys together whether it's how to use the bullpen effectively on Fridays and Sundays and maybe piggyback on a Saturday. But I'd say here in the next 36 hours heading into the Kansas series, we'll go ahead and settle on day 2 and 3 of that rotation. Haven't gotten to Sean as often as we would like in the closer role. Definitely an option to try to get him more touches and try to get Gabe back into a groove where he can be more of a dominant force like he was at the end of last year. Just a little slow out of the gates to get him into the position we need him to be in. So working hard to get those things established. I think Ethan Lund returning this weekend will be a huge addition to what we've been trying to do. Arguably one of our most talented kids and best pitchers. At the end of the fall, a little early season shoulder soreness. He's bounced back from that now. He's feeling great. So those are important pieces. They were part of what we were built on. And now trying to piece those kids back together in sequence, get some guys in some roles that we think they can really settle in on.
So you mentioned trying too hard on Sunday. And so at this point, you're in conference play and everything matters a lot. You're past the process part of it. You're into the results part of your schedule. So how do you get kids to get into that results aspect without them pressing?
Well, we have smart kids. We have proud kids that have been part of a lot of winning, and this is really important to them. And so they're aware when we're not playing as well as we want to, that results do matter. And obviously we go out and attack the game, and we talk about preparing well and going out and competing fiercely. And sometimes there's a fine line between competing fiercely and being prepared and over-competing. And sometimes when you over-compete, you put so much of your emotion into what you're doing that you can actually work against yourself a little bit. There's a little bit of pressure that you might not realize you're placing on yourself, might cause you to leave the strike zone on a pitch you otherwise would take, might cause you to swing a little bit harder on a pitch that you should just try to take a base hit or overthrow a pitch here for a strikeout. So there's all kinds of mental dynamics involved. Trying to get back into a groove and relax and not become maybe as result dominated as you can be if you're not getting the results you want. So it's both psychological and approach, and it's also internal, just the way we continue to stay positive with the kids. There is no magic value to negative energy. It can be poisonous, so it's very important to just keep doing the right thing every day. Have a good plan, believe in what it is you're doing, grow alongside the boys, grow towards our potential each and every day. Obviously, you'd like to get there quicker at times, but there's no shortcut to getting a highly skilled game under control, and that's what we're working towards.
Two-part question. Was the 4th inning last night the best inning of the year? Of course, we've had 4 spots, but the way that executed, there was process and results that went into all of that. So was that the best part of the year? And then how do you grind a pitcher's pitch count when you're not gathering hits early in a game?
Well, there was definitely some real upside to that inning. I would have loved after the triple to have brought Brugge in and put runs number 5 and 6 on the board. But the reason that was a really good inning is just the timing of the inning and kind of where the ball club was at. So I think arguably that was absolutely one of our best innings. Our ballpark is one that we've grown very comfortable in, and a lot of our guys' swings and the flight of the ball off of their swings plays best when the wind does definitely blow out of the south. If the wind blows a little bit out of the north or the east and it knocks those balls down, you see some bigger guys hit some balls in a pattern that some days really play well and other days they're just empty outs. So when you see a lot of wind action, you got to lower the ball. And I thought we did a much better job of lowering the ball as the game went on. So Brugge's triple was a low liner. The balls hit out of the park were lower trajectory, less loft. So that was a good adjustment. We need to be able to make that adjustment. How do you wear down a pitcher pitch count wise without getting a lot of base hits? All you're looking for is just good quality, steady, team-oriented at bats where the hitter is trying to get a pitch to drive, and if it's not there, he's willing to work the count until he gets that pitch. If it takes until 2 strikes, so be it, and then at the time you arrive at 2 strikes, be difficult to strike out.
Yes.
I think that's how you get to 2 strikes or how you create pitch count, but if a good pitch to hit shows up early in the at-bat, we by no means have any restrictions on when you can swing. I think the only guy that really has a responsibility to the inning itself is the leadoff hitter to try to make sure that the first pitch of the inning is not put in play and create an out, because then the second guy has to burden.
Or you got to go out and talk to him.
Yeah, there's definitely some, I think, team-oriented ideas on the first pitch. But when you get going and you've seen a guy once and you're familiar with his pitches, You know what the ball's doing. You see it well, and you get a good pitch early in the count. There's been a lot of guys make a living on the first pitch. So
Yeah.
I think that's when you're in a really good spot as a hitter, in a really good spot as an offensive, first pitch is an offensive pitch. When you're trying to get something going, sometimes the first pitch is more of a 50-50 pitch.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to build pitch count, or maybe the guy on the mound for the other team has struggled with his command, you might see one to kind of put the ball back in his court and see if he's on his game that day.
Yeah. Yeah, so this team right now, Braden Smith is big for this team. We've talked about that several times. We talked about Briggy last week, so let's key in on Braden Smith. He has really gotten hot, and he has just kind of a certain edge to him that you like as a leadoff hitter. It seems like he brings a lot of that positive competitive energy whenever he's hitting the ball, and it seems like he's hitting, you talked about hitting the lower balls. He's hitting the harder ground balls and line drives now. So can you talk about Braden Smith?
Yeah, the competitiveness that you see in him and kind of the fun body language is very positive. He's a very positive energy giver. He's a great person. Probably one of those guys that I would say of all the kids has been, as a newcomer, one of the most enjoyable to get to know because there's a lot to him. But he loves the game. He's a baseball player in every sense of the word. He does have some sneaky power, which presents itself at times, but what he's done really good the last 2 weeks is he's keeping his approach simple.
Yeah.
Every good strike over the plate, he's trying to line it the other way.
Yeah.
He's done that pretty frequently. It's
has.
made him a better off-speed hitter to the pull side now, so you're seeing some base hits over here, base hits over here.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yep, a lot of balls into left field now on a line, and then the occasional ball to right field with some climb for extra bases. So he's done a great job. He's an ultimate competitive kid. Great makeup. Played a nice center field for us, and obviously a versatile player to come in and do some work on the infield too.
So you had a bunch of new faces, then you lose Aiden Miola, then you lose Avery Ortiz, and then you lose Ethan Lund. So you have all these new faces plus that. So just let's button this thing up. Evaluate, is this team about where you thought it would be? Are you behind where you thought you would be? Ahead of where you thought you would be? Where are you at there?
Oh gosh, it's hard to say. I mean, you go into everything with the highest of hopes. I think when you look at your team, your goal as a coach is to get every player to their absolute potential, to have the best year they've ever had. That's what you envision for them. That's what they want. That's what you work towards. And in your mind, that's the destination. Every single day, working each guy towards his potential. And when we arrive there, we think we have a chance to be very good. I think that's a lot of what the preseason projections are based on. We haven't been able to get there just yet. Would we like to be there? Sure. Are we there? No, we're not. And some of the things that can be the challenge, I think you're looking at it every single day and say, are we putting in the time? Yes, the kids are working, we're investing. Are we working on the right things? Yes, we're working on the things that we know are a key part of being successful and ultimately identifying some shortcomings in the game that we need to clean up. Have we arrived there yet or found our rhythm as a team, or has everybody gelled and found their best baseball yet? And the answer to that's no. Part of that, I think, is the schedule that you play. We've definitely had a choppy flow to the first month. Didn't get in one of those stretches where we were ever able to kind of get on a 6, 7, 8 game streak or get into a comfort zone. So for us, that's been, I guess, a challenge, but maybe a good thing because it's forced us into a very intense push really early in the season. The key is that you survive that and get on the other side of it. So that definitely, I think for us, the early season struggles, the early challenges, it really speeds up your internal need to adjust. And sometimes inside of that, if you have a lot of new faces or you're not quite as stable as you need to be, a little bit of doubt can sink in. And you got to work to offset that, right? And so our job is to stay positive and work at the game the right way, keep the kids' spirits where they need to be, focus on what's in front of us, and keep attacking the game the right way. You can certainly get consumed with the past. You can certainly dwell on it. You can certainly make excuses, but that really doesn't do a whole lot of good. As I've told the guys, just stay positive with each other. Don't get consumed by anything other than what's in front of us and how we're going to go ahead and play better moving forward. And that's the way to get yourself to your ultimate destination. But yeah, would you like to be further along? Well, certainly, I think there's no doubt. But you also have to own where you're at. You have to dig in. You have to keep competing. You have to continue to believe in what you're doing. And I believe in these kids. They know that right now we're pushing to get back to where we envision ourselves being. But we are who we are right now, and we just got to keep plugging. And we can certainly do that. And I think that's the story that we're working to tell.
Got to jump in that foxhole, don't you?
There you go. Well, that's the challenge. Just see how you respond to challenges. We're certainly not going to turn and run from it.
Yeah.
Certainly not going to back down from it. And I'm proud of them. Proud of the kids for continuing to compete hard, even when you don't get that desired return. And that's sport. That's sport. That's baseball for sure. And that's part of being in a competitive environment. You just got to continue to get out there. And we've had our fair share of moments when we've been on the high side of competition, and we certainly understand how thin that line is, right? So just as quickly as you find yourself on the wrong side of the scoreboard, you can turn that around.
Coach Holliday, thank you so much.
You bet.